Now this is the login page we are going to build. This is only designed with just a simple HTML. We'll code such a login page. Yeah, this kind of login page. The setup is really designing the page doesn't take much time, but the process to take, because we need to set up, download our text editor, study a lot about our text editor, and then start coding. That is why the video will be a bit longer. So it's the setup that makes it more longer, but subsequent video might be shorter than this, but it also depends on what we are going to do. So let's look into our text editor and download it, and let's start coding. I think that's fine. Now, before we start coding our app, let's first go to Google Play Store and download our text editor. A text editor is simply a tool that helps us to create these websites and apps, because these text editors help us type our code, the code we use to create the websites. Now let me look for Google Play Store. Okay, here is Google Play Store. So I clicked on Google Play Store. You have to have internet connection before you can download the app. But after downloading it, you don't need to have an internet connection. So let me search for the app. So you type in Unwriter. That is a text editor we are going to use. There are other text editors you can use, but I really like this text editor. It's really a great text editor. You could see that they will tell you that Unwriter is a free text editor for web programmers, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It's really a great text editor, and it has a high rating, 4.4 rating. 4.4 rating. Now you click on install and wait patiently for it to download. Now I don't know of iPhone users whether this app is on the Apple App Store or not, the Unwriter, but you can get a text editor for an iPhone too. Maybe if you type in HTML editor, text editor, or HTML and CSS text editor, you are highly likely to find one. My network is down, that is why it's delaying. Let's hope and see it will download faster. It has started downloading. Now it's really a great text editor, and this is the text editor I'll be using, or we will be using for our coding with smartphone series. Coding with your smartphone series. It's really going to be great. It will teach you how to learn how to code. It's really a great text editor. Let's check and see whether it has finished downloading. And I recommend you download this app in order to follow suit, because if you are using a different text editor, there are some functionalities we may be using which you may not get out of the box, which you may not get from that text editor. Let's hope patiently for it to download. My network is down, that is why. It's really a great text editor. Yeah, I see. Now the app is installing. This is what we'll be using to code our websites and games and apps a lot. We'll be doing a lot with it. With your mobile phone, you will learn how to do that. And if you face issues, comment below any issue you face. We'll be resolving them one after the other. So our app has been installed. Let's open it. So we click on install, open, or we click on or press on open. Let's hope it launch faster. I'm patiently waiting. Now allow this. Look, allow Amwriter free to access photos, media and files on your device. So click on allow. You press on the allow. Don't click on deny. This is to help the app save the file or code into your phone. So if you click on deny, you may face some issues when trying to save the app we have coded into your phone, which will be really going to be a pain, a huge pain. So click on allow. You click on OK. So the privacy, our privacy policy. If you have the time to read through it, you can read through it, but I'll click on OK. So this is, you can see that it is a blank app, just blank. This is what we'll be using to create our fancy websites and games. So it is going to be great. Hope to see you. So get ready and let's start coding. Before we start using this text editor, let's first look at certain aspect of the text editor first. So let's look at the paths, because I'll be using certain functionalities within this text editor. And if you're not aware of these paths, you may have to face some really big issues. So first thing is, let's look at this symbol here. It is called the play button. With that, after we type in our code and after saving, we'll click on that and it will display to us our code, what we have typed in, how it will look like in a browser. So it's a play button. Now the thing you see here, these three dots, I call it the arrow keys toggler. The arrow keys toggler. When you click on it, I call that three dots the toggle button. The toggle button. The toggler, what it does is that it doesn't add anything to your code, but it creates some space downward so that to make sure that you can easily see well. That is what it just does. And it closes up the space if you click on it. Now this is the arrow key toggler. This one, it brings out the arrow keys just as in your computer or laptop. We have the arrow keys: left, top, left, right, bottom. So it brings out the arrow key, and if you click on it, it will hide the arrow keys again. Now this, from here to here, is my keyboard. It's the phone keyboard I use. The phone I use, that is the keyboard. Now your keyboard may look something similar like this. And this is my enter, the enter aspect of my keyboard. Now this is the space. If you are using it, you already know how to use the keyboard, the parts of your keyboard. So there's no need. My keyboard may look differently from yours. Now you could see this part, these three lines, horizontal lines. It is the project menu. I call it the project menu. It is where the projects you have opened, you will find your projects. If you have the projects you are working on, much of it will be found there. Now here, these three dots here, top here, I call these three dots the main menu. That is where you see the settings, the save, copy. No, you see the copy, and you also see the FTP, which we'll talk about maybe in our later tutorials. The paste button is, you see the paste in there. If you click on it, you see the paste, and you will see save as there, tools, and many more, privacy policies and help. That's what you will see within this. We call it the main menu. Now you will see this curve button. This curve button, that is the undo button. If you type in something and you made a mistake, you can simply click on it to undo what you have typed. That is the undo button. And the thing you see here, just like the box, the small box here, is the save button or the save button. After we code, you have to save before you click on play. So that is, so when you hear me say I will save, I click on save and then click on play. It means that it's here that I have clicked on the save button. After we add in something new, you have to click on the save and then click on the play to display what you have typed. If you don't click on the save, you will not see what you have typed in. Now what you see here, this box too, is your phone directory. If you want to open a new project you have saved on your phone, that is where you click and get the files and be able to access the file. And this plus symbol, if you click on it, this plus symbol, I call it the add symbol. If you want to add a new project from your folder, like if you want to add a new project within this and start coding, if you are coding and you want to change a new project, that is where you click on to add a new project. Now this bigger empty blank space, it is the workspace. That is where you work on. I call it the workspace. That is where you work on. And this is the active menu, the active session. This dot arrow here is the active session. Now you can see this, there's a less than symbol here. It is used for opening tag. If you want to open a tag, HTML this will tag. When we start coding, you know you see what I'm saying. If I click on it, you know. So if you want to access it, that is the opening tag. I call the less than symbol. It's meant for opening tags. And what you see here is, if you want to automatically close a tag, if you open it and you want to automatically close the tag, that is where you click on. But if you don't want to close it automatically, then you can really do that manually by using this symbol. And what you see here here is a tab button. When I say you press on tab, that is what you shift 7 times from the left hand side to the right. The tab button, that's a tab button. So we'll be using it. That's a tab button. This is the equal sign, and then this is the quotation marks for bringing out quotations. I think this is the vital aspects of what you need to know about the text editor. These are the parts of our text editor. Basically, you can take a look at them, or you can take a look at it. Yeah, if you have any challenges, you can really comment below. But this is what you need to know about the text editor. Now, since we have installed our text editor, let's start coding our login page. So we are going to do this with only HTML. HTML uses what called tags, and tag starts with the less than symbol. So you have to bear with me for now. So let's first to do that, we have to first declare the document, and to declare the document type, so we capitalize this doc type. Doc type, we type in HTML. So the doc type should be this way. This is a, come on, what is happening? It should be small letters, HTML. Now we would, the next thing is that we will type in HTML, our HTML tag. We'll close it. This is a container tag. We wrap everything around an HTML tag. We press in the arrow key to tab it. Then what we are going to do is, let's design the head. The head is where we click here. The head, on the head, what we'll do is that we'll type in the title. So the title is what the information that is going to appear on your browser, on the top aspect of your browser. So we're going to name it login form. Login form. So the heading, the head tag is where I would like to say settings are done. Yeah, where your CSS is supposed to be, and a lot of stuffs, and your title. Now let's move on to the body. Click on the body. The body tag. Inside our body tag, we need to create, now let's start creating our form, our login form. So let's create a form tag inside our body tag. The form is a container tag, so we close it. Now let's save it. Let's save what we have done. So to save it, we click on here, this symbol. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to name this login.html and save it inside my folder. Then I'll click on this symbol, the play symbol. See, you can see that nothing has appeared here. So now nothing has appeared. Oh, some silly ad is coming. You close it. So now let's, inside our form, let's do what? Let's name this first set. The first set is going to give it a fancy outlook. Let's play it again. You can see that there's some funny fancy outlook here. It's as a result of the first set. The first set is as a result of the first set. That's why it is looking that way. Now let's then start coding our form, our login form. So the next thing is going to be, I would like to wrap this around a div, so that I then create span. No, first let me come at the top of here and then use A2. I would like to use the heading 2 and then type in login form and then close my heading 2. Let me save it. Now you could see that the login form we have typed in has appeared. So inside this div, I would like to use the span word, and then I'll type an email. Email, and then do this way, close it. The next thing is to create the input. Yeah, this is the input. So inside the input, I'll write type. The type is going to be what called email. I'll tell you why. Now let's save this and let's press play. You could see that our input has appeared. This is email, and this is our input. We can type something in here, but there's one thing I'll have to do. Let's go back. I would like to give what we call placeholder. A placeholder is just something, a text that will be inside our input, our text box, our input box, saying, giving the user information what to enter. So I'll say enter email, so that when I save now, and you will see that inside our box, you can see the enter email. It has appeared. Now we say no thanks. So I think the first part of our form has been designed. Let's calm down a bit, and then I would like to use BR tag. I'll tell you why. Let's create another div and wrap this around. We create the password aspect. So let's create the password. So I would like to say span, and then type in password, and then close my tag, and then come down, create input, my input. I'll type in type. Now the type, the first was email, the type was email. I would like to say password, so that if we give the type of password, input with the type of password, what it's going to do is that it's going to hide it. The browser, it is going to have the browser determine that this is something secret. The user is typing in password, so it by automatically hide it immediately the user entered the password. So I'll give it a placeholder, something that will appear to tell the user what to enter. So I'll say enter password, so that, and then click on save. So let's play. You can see that our password has appeared, but you can observe that the password section is closer to the email. We don't want that. Let's bring it down a bit. And to bring it down a bit, we have to come in between the two divs, the password and the email, and create what we call the BR tag. We use a BR tag to create it. And then when we use a BR tag, it is going to give us space between the two. Now let's with our input, our login button. To create our login button, I would like to wrap that one to around a div. A div is just an empty container. It has no use. It's just an empty container that helps us create stuff. We could see there's an empty container, nothing with it, nothing has appeared. So now I would like to create an input too, but with this one I would like to create it with a type of what? Button or submit. Submit. So it's going to be a type of submit. But if I play, you could see that if I save and play, you see that it's a type of submit. Now what I would like to do is that So since it's a submit button, but I don't like the way it has appeared there. I want it to come down a bit. It is closer to the password, so I'll come in between the two divs, and then between the password and the input I'll then use a BR tag, then click save. It will really bring it down a bit. You can see that. Now I don't want the name submit to appear. I want the name to be called login, but I cannot say type of login. So to really change the name, I have to give what we call a value, and then say login, and then put in the login. If I change the type to say login, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna operate the way I want it to be. So I'll give it a value, which will then change it by default to login. Now our form has been created. Our login form has been created, but there's still some few things we have to do. You can observe that the input box here, the email input box. Now let's try to type in email. You can see that these are email. We can type in HGD, and then we can type in password. When you type it, hides it automatically. We'll click on login. You can see that it will tell us that please include at the end of the email address. So if you give it a type of email, that's a benefit you get. So unless you put at this.com for it to really work, and then you will see that it's working. I say no thanks. Now I want the input here to shift a little bit, so that the email input box to shift a little bit forward to match the password input box. These two boxes, I want them to match. They are not matching. So since the main intent is to design this with only HTML, what we are going to do is that here is the email input box. So between the two, and HTML has, if we give space this way, it's not going to shift it. It's not going to shift the input box here, the email input box, a little bit further. So what we can do here is that an HTML has what we call an element called non-breaking spaces. Non-breaking spaces give spaces. Give spaces within our HTML document. So, and non-breaking spaces starts with ampersand, and when with the symbol MBSP, and ends with semicolon. Non-breaking space. When we save and then click play, you could observe that it has shifted a bit. So meaning that we need to create more of these non-breaking spaces for it to shift more further. So I'm going to create four of the non-breaking spaces, MBSP, then semicolon. I'll create another one, MBSP, then semicolon. Create another one, ampersand, NBSP, and then semicolon. Let's save this and then observe. We have created the spaces 4 times. You could see that it has shifted a little bit. It has shifted it a little bit, the input button a little bit from, which is a little bit more closer to the password, matching the password input box. So what I'm going to do is that currently it doesn't match. So what I'll do is that I'll create 4 more of this. 4 more. Let's create 4 more. So what I'll do is that I would like to copy what I've created, the 4 that I've created. Sorry, let's create it this way. You press and hold, and then come here and come to the other side and control it. You can control the movement of the where you want to copy, and to copy it, after highlighting it, you then press here and then click on copy. So you click on anywhere within the document, then come here. Make sure that there is no, it is really lying closer to the input box, and then let's paste it. Click here, paste. So we have pasted 4 more of these numerical spaces. We save and then click play. You could observe that the 2 has matched, has relatively matched, or it's a bit more closer. Let's delete one of the non-vacant spaces. Let's delete one. Make sure that, so now if we delete one and then save and then come, you will see that it has matched now. Our login form has been, our beautiful and fancy login form has been designed with just only HTML. And I think that is it. If you have any concern, now let's see if you type in this at yahoo.com and you type in your password, you could observe it's really working. And this is how we code login forms using HTML. Yeah, just beautiful. That's how it is done. If you have any questions or face any challenge, you can comment below. I'll be addressing your issues one after the other. And please like and share the video. It is really going to help us a lot. Like and share the videos to your friends, and also follow our page. It will help us. And if you want me to really do a course on HTML, a crash course on HTML, comment below the issue that you should comment below, saying that interested. Comment interested. That will really show that we'll see how many people are interested, and we would sit down and create an entire HTML tutorial on this for you guys. I think that's how it is done, and it's just simple. With this simple login, you have created a fancy login form with just only HTML. Yeah, with just only HTML. So say no thanks. I think that's it. Hope to see you in the next video. I remain M Sober. Bye bye.